So hi everyone, it's Neil here again. Thought I'd make a video today just to document my year really. It's been almost exactly a year, in fact it was a year ago yesterday that I was transferred from the Royal Cornwall Hospital to Derriford when I became unwell, and about a month later, 17th of May in fact, I ended up losing both my legs below the knees. And yeah, it's been quite a remarkable year, and I'm sorry I haven't documented more online, but nobody watches this stuff anyway except for me, so it's more for my benefit. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about the year I've had. It's been a very strange year. Very unexpected things that happened. I mean, even outside of life-threatening illness and surgery, just what's happened afterwards, the subsequent journey I had after my operation has just been mind-boggling, and I've learnt a lot about myself, and I've learnt a lot about, you know, what happens to people after they leave hospital. And it's fair to say a lot of the things that I've learnt about what happens to amputees especially has been, well, from a surgeon's point of view, it's been quite disappointing. But I'm here, made it, and yeah, it's been a year of some incredible lows, but also some really good fun stuff has happened as well. So after I left hospital, I had a rough time, and looking back on it, it's only now I realise how rough things were. I look back at my old videos and I seem quite upbeat, and I think in many ways I was, but it's because I think I was just completely stoned. I was on gabapentin, quite high doses for phantom limb pain, and I think the overall sort of the thing that gabapentin does, it just numbs you, but not just numbs you from a pain point of view, it just numbs every part of you. You just don't care about things, things just wash over you, and it slows your brain down so much. It felt like somebody had opened my skull and poured treacle in. I'd be copying phone numbers and I could remember 1 or 2 digits at a time, which is unusual for me. So I think when I got off the gabapentin, and I'll do a video at some point about coming off gabapentin because that was hard, once I was off the gabapentin, I think that's when the world really sort of became real, and my predicament became real, and my frustrations and anger sort of bubbled to the surface. I just realised that the stuff I'd been told in hospital was nobody lied to me, but the time frames and expectations were just wrong. I think I had a rough time in the weeks between leaving hospital and getting my legs, and I think that's mainly because I just wanted to move, and being a bilateral amputee, you can't do anything without legs. You're completely wheelchair bound, and somebody tells you you're going to have legs in 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and it turns out to be 10 weeks or 12 weeks. That doesn't sound like a lot of time difference, but it feels like forever when you're sat at home. The days last for weeks and the weeks last for months, so it's really frustrating. And when somebody says, you get your casting on a Thursday and you get your legs on a Monday, but in actual fact it turns out to be a month later, it's really annoying. And I had no concept of this before I became a patient myself. I well, I assumed that things just happened, but also I didn't realise how frustrating it was for patients. I didn't realise how horrible the experience is. You're just on your own, and I know quite a bit about amputations. I dread to think what it's like for somebody who just drops into this without any foreknowledge. Yeah, it's horrendous. So I think, you know, I've sort of pledged myself to try and improve things if I can. And you know, I am so conflicted about the treatment I had post-operatively. It has been marvellous and rubbish all at the same time, but despite some hiccups, I've ended up with some really good legs on the NHS, and they're fantastic, and they work well, and they're free. And you know, I also have gone privately to get some running blades, and as part of that I decided to get a second pair of everyday legs from Dorset Orthopaedics, also fantastic. But part of the reason I did that was to explore the difference between NHS treatment and private treatment. And it's fair to say that the mechanics, the legs themselves, are pretty similar. The thing I was craving and what I got through Dorset Orthopaedics was time and a chance to talk to people and to feel more involved in my care. But you know, that's not a criticism of the NHS. The NHS doesn't have the resources for that, but unfortunately I had the means to do it, and I'm very lucky. And also, whoever would have thought it, I just gained a passion for going to the gym. So I got blades, a fat bloke on blades. It's so tragic, but yeah, I got some blades, and they're currently stuck in Dorset Orthopaedics because of the COVID, but yeah, they're just awesome. So yeah, so anyway, outside of all of that, the year's been interesting. I went back to work in October, 6 months after my operation. Again, there's some ups and downs of work, but generally it was just nice to be back doing what I do, meet back with my colleagues, back with patients. Sorry, that noise is a dog. Watch out, Milo. And I ended up being invited to talk on Radio Cornwall, which sort of avalanched into a conversation with a TV producer, Gemma, awesome lady, and I ended up being followed around by some BBC cameras for a few days and made a brief documentary about my return to work and the problems I'd had and my concerns about amputee care, and that just sort of struck a note. I ended up on BBC Breakfast with Naga Manchetti and Charlie Staith on a Saturday morning, all expenses paid trip to Salford in Manchester, and then got invitation to speak to Daily Mail, turned them down, don't like their politics, and the next thing I was on the sofa on this morning with Ruth and Eamonn, which was just incredible, and ended up having a cup of coffee made for me by Gok Wan, and met Alice Beer and looked after a dog. Yeah, it was just the most bizarre thing ever. So I've had invitations to speak to conferences, invitation to go to Canada. So yeah, it's just been strange. All of this sort of come to a standstill because of COVID, but you know, I am keen to continue this because I think I can hopefully improve things for amputees in the UK. So yeah, it's, you know, I've come a long way. I'm more active than I've almost ever been. I've been out on a trike a lot. I'll put some videos of that up at some point. I do a lot of walking. I can walk. I've walked 4 miles across country paths on my legs without much difficulty at all. You know, and my next goals really are, when I get my blades back, to start jogging. So yeah, odd year, very odd year. Started off, well, this time last year was terrible, but you know, I'm back fully at work now. I've just done a weekend on call, properly back to normal duties. It was all fine. My brain still works, my hands still work. I think I'm as good a doctor as I was before, maybe a bit more empathic. So yeah, onwards and upwards if I survive COVID. Yeah. So anyway, I've rambled on for quite some time. So yeah, hopefully see you again sometime. Bye for now.